Ladies and gentlemen, there is a message that needs to be heard to D1 that may sound shocking at first. Stop being kind to everyone. Now, before you misunderstand, let me explain. Kindness is often seen as an unquestionable virtue, something we should extend to everyone in every situation. However, there is a significant difference between being genuinely kind and offering blind approval. True kindness does not mean agreeing with everything people say or do just to maintain peace or avoid conflict. In fact, when kindness is used as a means of avoiding difficult conversations, it ceases to be beneficial and can become harmful instead. Many people mistake kindness for mere politeness, thinking that being agreeable at all times is the best way to show love and care. While being polite and respectful is important, true kindness goes deeper. It is not about making others feel comfortable at all costs, but about acting in their best interest, even when it requires hard truth. When kindness turns into a habit of saying yes to everything, we risk enabling behaviors or beliefs that are not beneficial, and in some cases, even destructive. Consider a situation where a friend is making harmful life choices, such as engaging in self-destructive habits. If kindness is misunderstood as simply being agreeable, one might choose to stay silent or even offer support under the guise of being non-judgmental. But is that true kindness? Avoiding the truth to spare someone's feelings might seem compassionate in the moment, but in reality, it is an act of negligence. True kindness would involve having the courage to confront the situation, offering guidance, and encouraging them toward a better path. Blind approval can also have a larger impact on society. When people fail to speak up against wrongdoing because they fear being seen as unkind, harmful behaviors, can flourish. History has shown that silence in the face of injustice allows negative forces to grow. If kindness means standing by while dishonesty, corruption, or oppression thrive, then such kindness is no kindness at all. Real compassion demands that we take a stand when necessary, even if it makes us unpopular. Additionally, always agreeing with others to appear kind can create a false sense of security. If people are never challenged, they may never grow. Growth often comes from facing difficult truths and making necessary changes. A society where people refuse to correct one another out of fear of offending is one that encourages stagnation and prevents progress. True kindness helps people become better, even if it means delivering uncomfortable truths. It is important to recognize that kindness should not be used as an excuse for passivity. There is a balance between being compassionate and being honest. Speaking the truth does not have to be done in a harsh or condemning way. It can and should be done with love and respect. However, if kindness is defined only by never disagreeing or never challenging others, it loses its real meaning. Being kind does not mean blindly approving everything. It means genuinely caring for others enough to guide them toward what is right, even when it is difficult. True kindness requires courage, and sometimes the most loving thing we can do is say, "This is not right." Avoiding conflict is a natural human instinct. Many people equate peace with the absence of confrontation, believing that staying silent or going along with others is the best way to maintain harmony. However, when this mindset is taken too far, it leads to a dangerous form of weakness that allows wrongdoing to continue unchecked and prevents necessary growth and change. Avoiding conflict at all costs is not an act of kindness. Rather, it is a failure to stand for what is right. There are moments in life when speaking up is uncomfortable. It may mean facing rejection, disapproval, or even hostility. Many people fear confrontation because they do not want to be disliked or seen as harsh. However, if the desire to avoid discomfort overrides the responsibility to address serious issues, then silence becomes complicity. Imagine witnessing a friend or loved one making harmful decisions, whether through poor life choices, dishonesty, or self-destructive behavior. Staying silent in these moments does not protect them. It allows them to continue on a dangerous path without guidance. True care requires intervention even when it is difficult. On a broader scale, history has shown that avoiding conflict can have severe consequences. Many injustices have persisted because good people remain silent. When individuals refuse to speak up against corruption, discrimination, or unethical behavior, they indirectly support it. Fear of confrontation should never outweigh the importance of standing for truth. Entire societies have suffered because people prioritize comfort over courage. Avoiding conflict may provide temporary relief, but in the long run it creates larger problems that become more difficult to resolve. Another consequence of avoiding conflict is personal weakness. When people consistently shy away from difficult conversations, they train themselves to tolerate things they know are wrong. This gradually erodes their integrity, making them less likely to act with conviction in future situations. Strength is built through practice, and standing up for what is right, though challenging, develops character and resilience. It is not about seeking conflict for its own sake, but recognizing that some battles are necessary. Growth, both personal and societal, comes from addressing difficult truths head on. Moreover, avoiding conflict can damage relationships rather than protect them. Many people think that by not addressing issues, they are preserving friendships, families, or workplace dynamics. In reality, unresolved tensions often build beneath the surface, creating resentment and misunderstanding. A relationship built on avoidance is fragile because it lacks honesty. True, healthy relationships require open communication, even when it is difficult. Respectful disagreements, when handled correctly, lead to deeper understanding and stronger connection. Choosing to avoid conflict may feel like an easier path, but it is ultimately a path of weakness. Strength comes from being willing to face difficult situations with honesty and integrity. While kindness and respect are essential, they should never come at the expense of truth. A world where people refuse to address what is wrong is a world that allows harm to thrive. True courage is found in the willingness to stand up and speak, even when it is uncomfortable. True kindness is not just about making others feel good. It requires strength, honesty, and courage. Many people believe that being kind means always being agreeable, avoiding difficult conversations, and never challenging others. However, real kindness often requires us to do the hard thing, to speak up, to correct, and to hold others accountable when necessary. This is not always easy, and it certainly is not always welcomed, but it is the most genuine form of care we can offer. One of the greatest misconceptions about kindness is that it means avoiding any form of discomfort. People often hesitate to correct a friend, family member, or colleague out of fear that they might hurt their feelings or damage the relationship. However, allowing someone to continue down a harmful path just to keep the peace is not kindness, it is avoidance. True kindness demands that we sometimes have difficult conversations for the greater good. If a loved one is engaging in destructive habits or making poor choices, the kindest thing to do is to confront them, not to enable them with silence. In many cases, people who practice superficial kindness do so because they fear rejection or conflict. They worry that if they speak the truth, they might be seen as rude, judgmental, or unkind. But kindness is not about being liked, it is about doing what is right. A person who truly cares for others will risk temporary discomfort in order to help them grow. Sometimes the strongest form of love is a firm word, a tough conversation, or an intervention that forces someone to see the reality of their action. On a larger scale, history and society demonstrate the need for kindness rooted in strength. Many injustices have persisted simply because people were too afraid to stand up against them. While it may seem kind to stay silent in order to avoid conflict, that silence often enables wrongdoing. True kindness is not passive, it is active. It requires standing up for what is right, even when it is difficult. Whether it is speaking out against injustice, defending someone who is being mistreated, or standing firm in personal beliefs, real kindness is about more than just making people feel good. It is about making a difference. Furthermore, kindness without strength can lead to being taken advantage of. People who are always agreeable and never set boundaries often find themselves being manipulated or mistreated. Strength allows kindness to be meaningful rather than enabling. It ensures that kindness is not mistaken for weakness, but is instead recognized as a force for good. Ultimately, kindness is not about avoiding hard truths, but about delivering them with care. It is possible to be both kind and strong, to correct with love, to stand firm with compassion, and to challenge others in a way that helps them grow. True kindness requires the courage to do what is right, even when it is uncomfortable. Those who care enough to be honest, even when it is difficult, are the ones who truly make a difference. Many people believe that kindness is about making others feel comfortable, avoiding disagreements, and keeping the peace at all costs. However, true kindness is not about comfort, it is about guiding people toward what is good, just, and right. When kindness is reduced to simply making people feel good, it loses its real value. Standing for truth, even when it is uncomfortable, is one of the most genuine ways to care for others. There is a natural desire to avoid confrontation. Many people fear that standing up for what is right will make them seem harsh or unkind. But avoiding difficult conversations does not help anyone in the long run. If a person is heading in the wrong direction, whether in their personal choices, beliefs, or actions, kindness is not ignoring the problem, it is addressing it with wisdom and care. Truth, when spoken with sincerity and love, has the power to guide, correct, and uplift. Some of the greatest changes in history happened because individuals chose truth over comfort. Social progress has never been made by those who simply went along with what was easy. Instead, those who had the courage to speak up, to challenge the status quo, and to tell the truth, despite opposition, were the ones who made a lasting impact. Imagine if people had remained silent in the face of injustice simply because they did not want to cause discomfort. A society where truth is ignored for the sake of politeness is a society that does not grow. On a personal level, people who always prioritize comfort over truth often find themselves stuck in unhealthy situations. Friendships, family relationships, and workplaces suffer when important issues go unaddressed. A friend who never tells the truth out of fear of hurting feelings is not truly a friend. Real love and care involve honesty. When someone is making a mistake, or engaging in harmful behavior, the kindest thing to do is to gently but firmly tell them the truth, even if it is difficult to hear. Truth must always be delivered with wisdom. There is a difference between being truthful and being unnecessarily harsh. The goal should never be to shame or hurt others, but to help them see a better way. The most effective way to stand for truth is to combine it with patience, understanding, and genuine concern. When people realize that truth is being spoken out of love and not judgment, they are more likely to receive it well. There will always be pressure to go along with what is popular, to say what people want to hear rather than what they need to hear. However, true kindness is not about avoiding discomfort, but about helping others move toward what is right. It takes courage to challenge falsehoods, to speak out against wrongdoing, and to stand firm when it would be easier to stay silent. In the end, the most loving thing a person can do is to prioritize truth over temporary comfort, because truth spoken with kindness leads to real and lasting change. Being bold and honest is one of the highest forms of love. Many people mistake kindness for always saying pleasant things, agreeing with others, and avoiding difficult conversations. However, true kindness is not about keeping people comfortably. It is about helping them grow, even if that means telling them something they do not want to hear. Boldness and honesty, when motivated by love, can change lives in a way that passive kindness never will. There is a natural fear of offending others or being seen as harsh. Many people hesitate to speak the truth because they worry about damaging relationships or being perceived as judgmental. However, honesty is not the same as cruelty. The intention behind speaking the truth matters. If the goal is to uplift, guide, and correct rather than to hurt, then honesty is an act of love. In contrast, allowing someone to continue in harmful behavior or wrong thinking without correction is not kindness, it is neglect. Every meaningful relationship is built on trust, and trust requires honesty. If people always tell others what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear, their relationships become shallow and insincere. A true friend, a loving family member, or a wise mentor is willing to have the hard conversations. They do not remain silent when they see someone making a mistake. Instead, they take the risk of being disliked for a moment in order to help someone in the long run. This is what real love looks like, choosing to care about a person's well-being more than their temporary approval. Being bold does not mean being rude or aggressive. Some people justify being harsh or insensitive by calling it honesty. But truth should always be spoken with wisdom and care. The way a message is delivered matters just as much as the message itself. Speaking with patience and understanding makes it more likely that the other person will receive the truth well. It is possible to be both firm and gentle, direct but compassionate. The balance of truth and love is what makes honesty effective. History and society show that real change happens when people are bold enough to speak the truth, even when it is unpopular. Many positive movements and transformations have come from individuals who refuse to stay silent in the face of wrongdoing. If everyone avoided difficult conversations for fear of conflict, progress would never happen. Boldness in speaking the truth has the power to challenge harmful ideas, break cycles of destruction, and inspire people to be better. The world does not need more passive kindness that avoids discomfort. It needs people who are willing to love others enough to tell them the truth. This is the kind of kindness that truly makes a difference. Choosing honesty, even when it is hard, is one of the most powerful ways to show care. When truth is spoken with love, it has the ability to guide, strengthen, and transform lives in ways that mere politeness never could. True kindness is not about avoiding conflict, making people feel comfortable, or telling them only what they want to hear. It is about having the strength to stand for what is right, even when it is difficult. Being kind does not mean offering blind approval or remaining silent in the face of wrongdoing. Instead, it requires boldness, honesty, and the willingness to speak truth with love. Avoiding necessary confrontation may feel easier in the moment, but it often leads to greater harm in the long run. Growth, both personal and societal, happens when people are willing to challenge falsehoods, correct mistakes, and hold others accountable. Real kindness is not passive, it is active. It is not weak, it is strong. It is not about making people comfortable, it is about guiding them toward what is true and good. The world does not need more people who say what is easy. It needs people who say what is right. Choosing to be both kind and truthful is not always the easiest path, but it is the most loving one. If we truly care for others, we will not settle for empty politeness. We will have the courage to tell the truth even when it is hard. In the end, the greatest kindness we can offer is not silence, but truth spoken with love.